Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with another knife overview. Today we are going to be looking at the Microtech L-UDT, or Large Underwater Demolition Team. As I'm sure you noticed, the background here is a little bit different. I'm actually doing this out in our cabin, but hopefully people won't miss my cutting board too much. But promise we'll get back to it, sooner rather than later. As far as this knife goes in the packaging, I didn't actually bring the box out here with me, but it's just going to be your standard Microtech packaging. So the LUDT, this has been around since 1995, and I've actually owned quite a few of the older, like Vero Beach Microtechs, the claw logos, etc. And one of my buddies, gave me this on a trade, and I thought to myself, hey, it's been a while since I've experienced an LUDT, and so thought I would check this one out. So the Microtech LUDT, so it features a 3.42-inch blade. It's going to be 8 inches overall. Closed, it is 4.6 inches. It weighs a very light 3.5 ounces, and you can blame a lot of that on the aluminum handles that it has. This blade's going to be an M390. It has a stainless pocket clip. This is going to be made in the US of A, and the MSRP is right around $250. All right, before we get into my observations, we'll do a few quick comparisons. And I kind of had fun with this one because I just went into my gun safe and I was like, what random knives do I have? But this is the LUDT as compared to a Schrade Viper. So I'm actually even embarrassed that I own this. I think it was like a Smoky Mountain Knife Works thing from back in the day, but there it is compared to a Schrade Viper. I also have a run-of-the-mill Swiss Army knife, so a little Victoria Knox. That's how it stacks up against the LUDT. Looks like that. And then finally we'll look at it as compared to a Civivi Elementum. So I'm obviously breaking out the big dogs for this, but there it is as compared to a Civivi Elementum. So with that, my first observation with the Microtech LUDT is I really do think that this is just the quintessential push button auto. It fires super hard. It has an aluminum frame, keeping things really, really light. Honestly, it's kind of just a great and timeless shape. I love how linear the blade and the handle is. Doesn't really do much for ergonomics, but there is some beauty in the simplicity of this knife and just how straightforward it is. The next observation that I had was just the hardware, and it's no secret one of my kind of heartaches with Microtech over the years has just been the use of proprietary screws for hardware. I'm one of those people that really does like to take knives apart. Not saying that I would ever touch this one since it is a push button auto, but I thought that it was kind of funny, like on Microtech's website, like they sell it as a feature. They say that they're, quote, tamper proof hardware. So I don't know how many people are tampering with my knife when I leave it. Like, I don't know, but I just thought that was weird. Like, I'll take like the Torx, like a T8 any day, or Allen key, whatever. I do like the fact that on the clip side, this is actually going to be like countersunk, so you don't have to worry about the other side spinning. But on the whole, I don't know. I think like proprietary hardware is a little bit outdated, and then the fact that they had to throw 3 of these screws on the pocket clip, it was just kind of weird. I guess like Microtech hates people that are gonna mod their knives. Not saying that I want to, but if you're one of those people that are just like, man, can't wait to get my hands on a Spyderco PM2 so I can, tear it down, keep the blade, change everything else, and have a $400 knife, Microtech's not going to be your bag. They have really gone through some sort of lengths to ensure that you cannot modify this knife. So it's just another one of my observations. The next observation that I had was just the over branding on this blade, and I think I'll try to get this thing to focus. I think it's locked. So Microtech on the whole, like, they just over brand the shit out of their blades. Like on there, you have L, Underwater Demolition Team, you got the serial number, Microtech, the month, the year, country of origin, USA, and then M390 in the corner. Like, it is just so busy and there's so much going on there, but that is not relegated just to the LUDT. I think Microtech's writ large. Like, if you look at the clip side of this knife, it looks so much cleaner and just like classier. You turn this around and it's like, I mean, they basically use the blade as a billboard for Microtech, and I don't necessarily like that. But again, that's been one of those things that we see on all Microtechs. The next observation is going to be this Cerakote. I don't actually know if it is Cerakote, but whatever's going on this pocket clip, it is already wearing off. It may just be, anodization, which, like, does stick to aluminum a lot better than stainless steel or titanium. So that could be what's going on here. But, this is kind of that coyote brown / burnt bronze color. And, on the push button, on the hardware, on the pocket clip, it is prematurely wearing than the aluminum handles, which is a little bit surprising, but you just got to keep that in mind. I mean, if this handle was all torn up and everything was kind of wearing at the same time, I think that'd be more forgivable or understandable. But the fact that some of the hardware is just like getting beat to shit while the rest of it kind of looks brand new, kind of raises some eyebrows, at least from my perspective. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. The next observation that I had was just the jimping and the thumb ramp. I really do like the jimping and the thumb ramp on this. The jimping is very appropriate, and I like that it kind of bumps up a little bit, but it's not like I'm not climbing up a cliff with my thumb. It's just enough to kind of give you confidence, lets you know that it's there, and I really like that about it. All right, the next observation that I had was just the action, and you'll quickly find out, like, when closing an LUDT, closing this thing, like, it feels like I'm like closing like a bear trap or something. It's just like, oh, like, you kind of like, when that whatever the lock engages, like, you just kind of hope that it holds it in there, because I mean, this spring is pretty highly tensioned, and this one's from 2017. It's definitely been used, but this spring is still, like, I mean, this thing flies out of there. So kind of reminds me of setting some sort of trap. As far as side to side blade play, there is little to none, but as is common with most push button autos, there is some rock, back and forth, so up and down, that vertical blade play, which is common for a auto knife. Can't really knock them for it. All right, and that concludes my overview of the Microtech L-UDT. I do have a lot of experience with this model knife, from really old school claw logo ones from the late 90s to mid 2000s with that, like, OEM. They used to come with like Maxpedition pouches. I've kind of seen these things evolve over the years, and the LUDT has stood the test of time, and more so than other push buttons such as ProTech, whatever. I think it is the quintessential kind of standard of the push button auto world. The price at $250, it gets you into a US made knife for less than $300. One of kind of the foot stomps that I would have though with this knife is one of the things that bothers me are, your local ordinances / laws that prohibit you from having an auto knife or a gravity knife, push button, OTF, whatever. Like, make sure before you get one of these, your knife laws, because I can think of very few things that would annoy me more than getting like a $500 ticket for having a $250 innocuous tool in my pocket. So just be aware of that before you pick this up. It is a push button auto, which is, it's super, super scary and blah, 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 blah. It's basically an assault knife. No, but just be cognizant of that before you pick one of these up, because they are really cool, but make sure you know your local laws, because I would hate to see anybody get a ticket or a court date from carrying this. But yeah, that concludes my overview of the Microtech L-UDT. Appreciate you all tuning in, and we will see you next time.